Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Mujer De Éxito Unbounded, Woman of Success Without Limits. ¿Cómo están? How are you? So today, welcome to another episode of Mujer De Éxito Unbounded, Woman of Success Without Limits. That's what it means. And today, on the podcast, we are going to continue on with the servant leadership series. Today, the topic is Lead with Heart, the real meaning of servant leadership. So, mujeres hermosas chulas, I hope that you are having a great day. If you're listening to me wherever you listen to your podcast, remember to download it because that's how the algorithm works. And if you're watching me on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel, gracias por estar aquí. My name is MartiAngel and I am your host for the Mujer De Éxito Unbounded. So hola hermosas, I hope you're having a great day. But if you're watching me on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. And if something that I say resonates, make sure to share this out so we can touch some more mujerpreneurs. All right. Before I get to it, I want to show you my new hat. You guys all know that I always wear a hat whenever I'm podcasting. I love hats, right? And this one I just got at the 𝗬𝗢𝗣𝗣𝗡 fair. Look, it's embroidered. It's really, really nice. And I hadn't had a gold hat, so I figured I would buy a gold hat. That happens to be one of my brand colors. Anyway, let's get to today's episode. Hermosas chulas, today I want you to remember that you are a reina poderosa, So welcome back to another episode of Mujer De Éxito Unbounded, where we empower the Latina and BIPOC mujerpreneurs to rise with heart and soul and strategy and go from surviving to thriving. And today's topic hits very close to home, where you lead with the heart, and that, my friends, is what is important in being a servant leader. When you lead with heart, the real meaning of servant leadership, leading with your heart. Let me ask you a question. How many of you guys, before you do anything, before maybe with me, like before I go on my podcast, I always, look up to the sky, touch my heart, and just say, I ask for certainty, I ask for clarity, so that the light, my vessel, can expand and allow more light to come in. So today, that's what we're talking about. How many of you guys do that? Now, let's be real. How many times have we felt that we had to toughen up or hide our emotions just to be respected in leadership roles, right? Now, let me tell you a little story. When I became principal of a middle school, I remember standing in front of all of my, parent community. That was over 300 parents, right, that showed up one time. And I remember standing there and I remember feeling the emotions come in. And society will always tell us that heart has no place in business, education, whatever. But here's what needs to happen, really, is that you need to learn to accept the emotion that's coming through and allow it to flow through you as you continue talking. So I remembered that because one of my mentors told me that you don't have to hide your tears. You just have to keep moving forward in your discourse so that you continue to move forward, allow the tears and allow the emotions to ride. Yeah, society tells us that heart has no place in business, but here I am to tell you that that's a lie. Es una mentira muy grave, porque el corazón es la clave. It's a lie. Because truthfully, as a servant leader, Your heart and connecting with your heart is the key to your success. So let me share a truth with you. There are many truths, but let me share one truth with you. The strongest leaders are those who serve first, who lead with integrity, who lead with compassion, who lead by making sure that their flock or their community listens to them as they listen to the community as well. So the heart of leadership is so important to you as a servant leader. If you want to lead with success, use your heart. Now, I used to think that being a leader meant being the boss, right? And a lot of leaders out there think that, hey, you know what? I am the boss, I am the leader. But the truth of the matter is, the one who makes the decisions, tells people what to do, and keeps everything in check is a boss, not a servant leader. That mindset of I boss people around, I'm the big honcho or whatever it is, that mindset leads to burnout and disconnection. Your followers will begin to disconnect from you because we all know that that there isn't one person that knows everything, right? So when you are leading and you lead with heart, you open the door to more light and more magic to come through. And the real magic happens when you flip the script. Instead of being a boss and telling people what to do, you become a servant leader. Flip the script, listen to what your community or your clientele wants to hear or wants to be heard. Then when you flip that script, you begin to actually create more loyalty within your community. By being a servant leadership means that you put the needs of your constituents, your people, your community, your clients, your customers first. You listen to them first. It's not about dimming your light. We always think that, if we share something from, let's just take a social media example. Many of us are over there saying like, okay, I'm not going to share her stuff because I don't want people to go to her, her stuff. And I'm here to tell you, absolutely share. If it's good for you, it's probably good for somebody else. And when you share, you become that servant leader without actually leading. And your community is first. And like I said, it takes nothing away from you. It's not about dimming your light. It's about shining so brightly and asking for clarity and asking for certainty. So bright that your light shines so that others feel safe to shine too. That's what a servant leader is all about. When you shine so bright that others feel the safety within your light to shine too. So, mujeres hermosas chulas, when I'm leading my mujerpreneurs inside the Rock Your Biz Academy community, I don't lead from above. I lead alongside them. We grow porque juntas podemos más. We grow shoulder to shoulder, my friends. We grow shoulder to shoulder, amigas chulas hermosas. It's not about everything I know because I'm not the be-all end-all. It's about community. It's about listening. It's about compassion. Now let me cover 3 ways to practice servant leadership, because people always say, well, okay, I hear you, but how do I actually practice servant leadership? And I'm here to tell you and share with you 3 daily ways that you, my friends, hermosas, chulas, mujerpreneurs, can lead with heart. So, here it is. And this one's the tough one. This one is the toughest one. They're simple little steps, but they're not easy because we are a reactive human being. We all are, right? That's our modus of operandus, reaction. Very little of us do we think, hold our tongue, and then become proactive, right? So like I said, the 3 daily ways that I suggest that you begin to practice being a compassionate servant leader is to listen first. That's the hardest one. Listen first. Maybe you put your finger on your mouth so that you can remind yourself to listen first. And then don't rush to give advice. That's what I do. I do my best. Now, obviously, I'm not perfect, but I listen first and I do my best not to rush to give advice. Instead, I remind myself to ask clarifying questions. How are you? ¿Cómo te sientes? How do you feel? And then, my friends, you must hold space for the answer. You know, when I was a principal, I would tell my teachers, ask a question and wait 22 seconds before you give the answer. Give the students time to muddle through and answer. Even with our children, this is a good practice. If you have children, if you have a spouse, a boyfriend, or even your pups, right? Hold space for the answer. Practice with that. Holding space for the answer. Because when you hold space for the answer, like I do, I focus on uplifting. I focus on my light shining on others' talents. I share their wins. Leadership is about elevation, not domination. Let me repeat that. Leadership, mujeres hermosas, chulas, is about elevation, not domination. If more of us that are in leadership positions would actually become and be put into practice servant leadership, we could transform the world in less than 30 days. But so many of us are still thinking that leadership is domination. I'm the leader, what I say goes, because if not, then nobody's going to see me as a leader, and that's not true. Here's what I want you to remember. The other thing that's really important is this. Stay vulnerable. Stay humble. I do my best to stay vulnerable. I do my best to stay humble. When I mess up, I admit it. When I'm afraid, I say it, right? It's being vulnerable is a strength. La vulnerabilidad. And I'm going to, some of you are learning Spanish with me. Well, actually, I know Spanish. That was my first language, but some of the words are really long. Vulnerabilidad, vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. And that, mujeres hermosas, chulas, is something for you to ponder, to take, wrap it up, and put it into your heart. Now, I'm going to ask you right now, let's take a moment of reflection. Let me ask you something, because this is a reflective episode today. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly seen by a leader? Maybe truly seen by a leader that we now call them influencers. When was the last time that you were actually felt seen by that person? Maybe you belong to a big, gigantic group like I do. I'm in a coaching group and this coaching group has over 10,000 people in it. So I never feel seen. Right? I don't feel seen because there's too many of us. That's why in my community, I hold it down to a very reasonable 200 or less. If I can get 100, that's beautiful. Because you, in order to succeed, do also need to be feeling seen. So now I want you to flip that. When was the last time you made someone feel seen? So 2 questions for you to ponder right here regarding servant leadership. When was the last time you felt seen? And when was the last time you made somebody else feel seen? Good 2 questions. Think about that. When was that last time? Because when you become a servant leadership, what you understand, what you begin to unfold, if you will, is the blossoming of leadership, of servant leadership, because leadership is not a title. It's a responsibility. It's a responsibility to your community. It's a responsibility to your customers. It's a responsibility to your family. It's a responsibility to anyone that you claim to be a leader for. La responsabilidad es una forma de vivir con integridad. Right? Responsibility, it's a form of living with integrity, with compassion, with truth. Vivir con integridad, compasión y con la verdad. That's what makes you a beautiful servant leader. And as a servant leader, I know full well that we must have tools that support us. And in my community, somebody asks, Marti, what are the tools that can support us through being a servant leadership, through being a servant leader? So I want to share with you my leadership content, right? And so I've had people say to me, Marti, I want to share my leadership content, but I don't know how to organize it, right? And me, Marti, I have always been an organized person, right? And so disorganization kind of throws me off. So I always organize everything. But I got you. If you're thinking about this and thinking, wait a minute, I want to share my leadership content, but I don't know how to organize it. I got you. I got you. Because I created a powerful Canva template just for you. It's a plug-and-play system designed to help you share content that reflects your heart-centered leadership style. And you can grab it. So if you're listening to me on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel, gracias por estar aquí. Remember to subscribe and hit that bell. Share out so that other people can listen and also become part of the Mujerpreneur community. But you can grab this template that I created for less than a cup of coffee on my stand store. But trust me, mi reina, it's going to help you create with ease, with clarity, and with intention. And that's so important because that is the Mujerpreneur way. Remember, as a Mujerpreneur, We are not just building businesses. We're building movements. We're not just selling offers. We are offering transformation. And how is the best way to do that, you ask? You lead with the heart. You transform yourself into the most compassionate, the most awesome, the most highly sought after servant leader. When your audience begins to know that you actually care, they trust you. And trust cannot be bought. When your team knows that you listen to them, that you see them, that you are compassionate to them, that you listen to their needs, they stay. They stay. When you show up with corazón, tu comunidad florece, your community flourishes. Now, I know that many of you are multi-passionate, as I am, full of ideas, full of dreams. But here's what I want you to know. Leadership starts from within. You've got to go within, drop into your heart, get out of your head, and drop in and say to yourself, I am a servant leader. How can I best be of service? You don't need a fancy title. You just need convicción, conviction. Conviction that what you are going to do is be that servant leader that is so highly desired, right? And so that's so important because so many of us lead by dragging people along, right? And I remember it was so tough as a mujerpreneur. Sometimes you think, I got to tell them what to do because if I don't tell them what to do, they don't know what to do. But I'm here to tell you that if you're afraid that your people don't know what to do, it's only because you haven't taken the time to listen. Listen to them. Listen to their needs. Listen to them. See them with your heart. La verdadera líder no impone sus reglas. The true leader does not impose restrictions and rules. A true leader inspires. Una líder no impone, inspira. A true leader does not force it. That person inspires. She doesn't need to be the loudest voice. She just needs to be the clearest one. The one with clarity, the one with certainty, the one rooted in service, in truth, in amor. That's what a true servant leader is. So today, hermosas, chulas, I challenge you to ask yourself, who can I serve today with heart? Who can I serve today with heart? And if you want to go deeper with me, I invite you. I would be so honored for you to come inside the Rock Your Biz Academy community and share your light in that academy, right? Because that's where we, mujerpreneurs like yourself, women of color, entrepreneurial women, whether you are seasoned or whether you're young, it doesn't matter. That's where mujerpreneurs like you are turning our hearts into legacy. Because it is my mission to leave a legacy of Latina leaders, servant leaders behind. So I invite you You can join the community. I have an opportunity for you to join the community on my Stan store. So if you are listening to me on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel, you can actually look below in the description below. There'll be a link there. If you're listening to me wherever you listen to your favorite shows, just look up MartiAngel.stanstore.com or look into the show notes because I'll drop it there. All right, mujeres hermosas, chulas, I hope today's episode filled your heart with warmth. And I thank you for tuning in to the Mujer De Éxito Unbounded. This is MartiAngel, your host. And if this episode touched you, screenshot it, share it, tag me on social media at MartiAngel_ELC on Instagram. Pero vamos, juntas. Nos vemos en el próximo episodio. I'll see you on the next episode. And remember, your heart is your power. Tu corazón es tu poder. I hope you guys all have a beautiful day. Thank you for listening. I'm so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you, my watchers and my listeners. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Namaste.